Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be installing the Roush cold air intake on the Mustang here. Just got this in. I did the unboxing the other day. Now the only reason I did an unboxing, I don't usually do that, is because it is my first mod to the Mustang, and I was pretty excited about that, so I thought I'd go ahead and do an unboxing video about that. And but today we're going to be installing it. Now I am going to be going through the instructions step by step, just the way the instructions tells you to do it, because I watched a few videos on how to put this on just because I had a question on one of them, and most of the videos I watched did not go through the instructions step by step, and they skipped a few steps and stuff like that, and I don't want to do that. Sorry about the wind. This is a beautiful day, but the wind's picked up. It's only going to be one of the only days I have that's going to be decent weather to put this on. It's supposed to rain the next few days, so I want to go ahead and get it on. It's about 74 or 5 degrees here today, so it's just beautiful, but the wind is going to be a little bit of an issue. But I am going to go through it step by step, so even if you can't hear me great, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. There again, like I said, I had a few questions. I couldn't tell what people was doing in some of the videos because they skipped some steps, and I'm not going to do that. So this video might be a little lengthy, but it's for the people that want to install one of these, that want to see every single step. Now I do want to say the instructions that Roush sends with this are in black and white, and that is awful. For the price of what this intake costs, which is around anywhere between $320 and about $340, depending on where you order it from. I did order this from Roush, so I paid the higher end, but it is going to be a little bit more expensive depending on where you get it. But they should have sent color instructions for what you pay for this. But I printed the instructions off in color, which makes it a whole lot easier because some of the pictures in there, you can't really see what they're doing. Okay, going by the instructions, you can see I did print these off in color. It does say the tools that are required is a 5/32 and a 3/32 Allen wrench, a 5/16 and a 10 millimeter. They say 1/4 inch drive socket. I'm using a 3/8, and it says 1/4 inch drive ratchet and a short extension, but there again I'm using 3/8, and a razor knife or equivalent. I'm just using one of my knives because it's about as sharp as a razor. I'll show you what that is about here in a little bit. I do want to say that is what I had a question about, and never could figure out what's going on until I printed this out in color. You can look at this on Roush's website and see it in color, which is what I did first. Again, sorry about the wind. It's just not gonna work with me today. So the first thing they say to do is disconnect the negative battery cable. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. That must be the 5/16 because that is smaller than what that is. I figure that'd be a 10 millimeter because a lot of batteries are, but this is the 5/16. Next on the list, it says loosen these two clamps right here. Those are also 5/16. I actually should have brought a flathead screwdriver because it would have been easier. I don't know if you can see it or not. This is just the clamp. Let me turn the camera up just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. This is just the clamp that's holding this part of the tubing on the throttle body. Now this does come with new clamps, so you don't have to retain these. I mean, I will keep this with the car. I'm not getting rid of this intake or nothing like that, so I will keep this with the car. But you don't have to retain these to actually install the Roush when it comes with new ones. So there we go. Those are pushed out pretty good. It says slide this red tab right here. This is your mass airflow sensor. There's a little red tab on the top. You just slide that back and then push in on it and disconnect the mass airflow sensor. Just push that back out of the way. And then next it says with a 10 millimeter socket, take this bolt out right here. It's just right down beside the filter right here. It's black. It kind of blends in, but it's the only bolt right there, so you'll be able to see which one that is. This puts me a little closer to the car than I'd like to be. I'm actually going to go get a longer extension. I'll be right back. Okay, I went inside and got a longer extension because I did not want to hit the paint on my car taking this bolt out. So they say a short extension. I got a longer extension. So I'd have died if I'd hit my paint right here. Just remove this screw completely. There again, you don't want to lose these, just in case, you know, you ever want to put this back in. So that completes all the way through step number 3. Sorry about the wind. I just don't have it. You know, I hate it. Every time I start to do a video, it seems like the wind wants to blow about 40 miles an hour. Now it says remove the complete air inlet assembly. Make sure the 2 factory grommets remain in. There's 2 grommets in here. I'll show you that here in just a minute. One thing I am going to do, let's see here, I can pull this up. I am going to go ahead and pull this right here off. That way I can take the air inlet completely out right here. And here are the 2 rubber grommets. You have to pull these off like so. If you can see, right here is 2 holes. It's hard for me to look. They have to stay in those 2 holes right like that right there. So they just need to be retained in there because the intake for the Roush actually goes back in those. It says to remove the mass airflow sensor. Now I'm going to do that, but they say set it aside, and I don't think I'm going to set it aside. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. That way there's no, actually, yeah, I can go ahead and do that. I do want to show you something. This is getting a little out of order, but this little tube right here goes inside this like so, and you can see where the mass airflow sensor goes through that little section right there. I did ask if I could leave this out. They do say this is for California residents and for racing purposes. You take this out. I did ask if I could take this out and leave it out if it hurt the car or anything. Now they said it you know, if you had a tune for the car to tune it for the larger airflow, you could leave this out. But if you don't have a tune in the car, you need to put this in because the car is tuned for this amount of air. So I am going to leave this in until I get my tuner put in the car. It should just pop in. Man, that thing is tight. Let me double check that in the instructions. I'm going to skip the step where I take out the mass airflow sensor because I don't want to leave that just laying around to get damaged. All right, with a 10mm socket, you need to take out this bolt right here. It is for your anti-lock brake system, and it's just the bolt that holds in the bracket. I'm not going to take out the part where I had problems getting that tubing in because you all may have the same issue that I had, and I want you all to see any kind of problems I have so that if you have the same problems and I figure out how to fix them, then you'll know how to fix them as well. So just remove this bolt right here. Next, it says to install the filter adapter onto the cold air dam as shown using 3/4 inch 20 by half button head bolts and 3/4 inch flat washers. This is your cold air dam right here. It fits down in the car. It's kind of like a heat diffuser, and you have to install this in it. And there's only one way it can go because there's no screw holes on this side, so it kind of has to go in like this. Here is your parts right here. I'm actually just going to scatter these out on the floor so I can see them. I'm not going to be walking over here, so it's not a huge deal. But it just screws in like so. There are 3 holes that you have to line up. So leave one a little bit loose. That way you can actually get them lined up, each one of them lined up. Just gonna snug these down good. Almost got that too tight. I'm gonna back that off a little bit. I'm notorious for over tightening stuff. Right, there we go. Screws in just like that. Next, it says slide the aluminum spacer, which is right here. You get a little aluminum spacer with it, and it goes in from the bottom like so. And in the hole in the cold air dam assembly, and then install the cold air dam assembly pins on bottom into factory grommets. Step 4, reinstall the bolt from step 3. So you reinstall the bolt you just took out. Now there's these 2 pegs right here that go down in these holes, and you got to maintain that little grommet too in the process and not let it come out. There we go. And you also reinstall the bolt that you took out right here in your anti-lock brake. You reinstall that also. See it being there pretty firm, pretty good. Next, you install this little rubber boot right here onto this piece. Now you use the 64 hose clamps. It is the smaller hose clamp. Crazy thing is, a lot of times these things are so hard to get on because they're so small. I did bring out a screwdriver to help me unscrew these. I put a K&N filter on one time on the clips, and these were so small I could not get the filter on after I put these on. So hopefully I don't have the same problem with this that I had with them. But these are extremely tight. Now one thing I did make sure of is I did make sure to put these both towards the top so I could get to them, because that would suck to not be able to get to these. Now I've got to figure out how to get this over this. Actually, the funny thing is, it actually said to take these green things off first. When you did that, I just didn't read far enough. It says to push in on these, and I'm not sure. There we go. You just push over like that and it releases it. You got to take both sides off because you actually have to remove this hose here and put the supplied hose that they send with it. My bad. I should have did that first, and if I'd have did that first, I could have went ahead and took that off with it. Save this though, because you are going to need the ends. Okay, I've loosened these clamps up about as loose as I can possibly get them, and it just almost wants to go on there. I'm actually just going to go buy larger clamps. This is crazy. I don't know why they would do this, why they make it where you can't even get the piece on this, but I'm going to go buy some larger clamps. I may even buy larger ones over here for this piece too. I think I will look at that now and see how hard it's going to be to get this piece on. I don't think it's going to be that bad to even get this piece even on. This piece seems to be going on fairly decent. I mean, I just got to slide this bottom clamp on like that, and that one's on. That one was not bad at all. Okay, I want to say I went out and bought 5-inch hose clamps because that was just a pain in the hind end to try to get that thing on. It's still a little, it was still a little tight, but at least it actually did go over it. See if I can slide this piece up on here now. There we go. So see, it actually went on that time. So those clamps they sent with it, I don't know about them fitting. I had to go up to a 5-inch clamp. Not a big deal. They wasn't real expensive. Maybe about $6. I think they were about $6, so not a huge ordeal. Just getting into it now to finish tighten it down. Just snug it up good. Make sure it's good and snug. That should do it right there. Yeah, I believe that's about got it. There. Okay, let's get back to the directions now. Okay, so next, you take this little grommet, looks like it's the same on either side, and it installs right here in the corner. There we go. Got it in. Make sure it's all seated. I don't know if you can see that down there. Make sure it's all seated correctly. Then it says install this piece, and it says install the tapered end first. So this is the tapered end. You just want to slide that down in there like so. Right like that right there. I'm going to hand start them. Stay. Hopefully that stays. Right there it is. It is in. You are supposed to leave that in. And hopefully that stays. So it does have a flow on it. It does tell you which way the air flows, just like that right there. And that is the way that we have it. So that's it. Next it says put the hose clamp on that piece, but I've actually already put it on the car. So we're just going to work with it like that. And then it says install that on it. So I do need the larger hose clamp. I still had it in the box. We will open that up about as far as it'll go. This may be a long video because this thing has been a pain in the hind end a little bit. So we went ahead and, let me turn this around. Went ahead and just put the hose clamp on that. We're going to take this larger hose clamp and we're going to set it right here on this one. Then we are going to slide this piece in here, if we can, like so. And we're going to slide this piece. Let me turn the camera over here so you can see what we're doing. You can see that went in fairly easy. And then we are going to try to slide this piece in here. That may be easier said than done. There it went. All right. There. It's all seated up, all in. And we just got to tighten down the hose clamps now. This is the one that doesn't want to stay in as well. So I'm just going to tighten this one down first and push up on it as we do it. Make sure we get it seated. Sorry, I might be in the way. All I'm doing is really just holding in on this so it seats and tightening down hose clamp. Make sure that stays in place. And now we'll tighten this one. We just need to match it up here. I'm actually going to take this off for a second. Just tighten it down with my fingers. Again, I bought 5-inch clamps here. It is making this job a whole lot easier. Just don't want any excess dirt or anything getting in here, so you want to snug these up good. You don't want dirt getting in there. Next step, you put on the filter. Hopefully the clamp on this is big enough to fit over that, I hope. Or back to Ace Hardware we will be going. This one looks plenty big enough. Now I am anal about this, some people may not be. This is one of the reusable filter, it is old, but it says Roush, and I do want the Roush sticking up straight. That's just me, some people may not care either way. I do. Again, we're just going to try to, we'll actually turn this down sideways a little bit. Make sure it's seated all the way around. Feels like it is. Now we're just going to tighten this down. There again, we want it to be good and snug so it creates a good seal. And that seems to be on there really good. All right. Next is the part we have to cut this off. So let me take you inside and show you how we're gonna do that. Okay, so to cut this off, we just have to cut along this edge right here. You gotta be very careful when you do this. Hopefully I don't cut into anything. Hopefully this cut's really easy. I'm hoping. This knife is pretty sharp, so I do not want to cut into the plastic. That is not going to come off unless you do cut it. I will say that. I just do not want to cut those plastic ends, because you do have to reuse this plastic end. So I'm just going to score it a few times here. And hopefully it will come off here in a second. I'm gonna get a small screwdriver and see if I can pry that open. There we go. So once I got it scored, I could pry it open like that, and then it just come off. Now this is plastic, so you have to be very careful when you're doing that. Okay. So next on the list after you get that cut off is you have to install the ends on the breather hose that they provide. So hopefully it's pretty easy to slide these things on. They are a little oily, so hopefully they just go right on. Took a little bit of finagling, but it did, it went right on. This one went right on as well. After that, you reapply it like so. Put this on here, put that on there, like that right there. Make sure they're connected good, they are. And that should be the install complete. All we have to do now is reinstall the negative cable and reinstall this plug here, and make sure you push the red piece in after it plugs in to lock it. And that should be it, other than the negative battery cable. Okay, there it is. There's how you install a Roush cold air intake. There is one more piece I did forget to put on. I just didn't see it. It is this piece that goes across the top. It just snaps on the very top of the plastic piece, so it makes a better seal. So when you shut the hood, but that's just snapping it on. That's not a hard thing to do. I just didn't see it in the box and forgot to do it. The hardest thing about this is I would suggest anybody doing this to go out and get 5-inch hose clamps. Those other clamps just were not going on. The other ones for the throttle body are perfectly fine, but the ones for the intake part side was not. Overall, this is a pretty easy install. If that would have went well, I'd have had no issues at all, but that did not go well, so we had to go buy clamps. Again, I hope you like this video. I hope it helped, because I didn't see anybody go through this. Any struggles I did, I showed on this video, so you can be prepared for that and know how to fix it. So I hope this helps somebody install one of these. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.